Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live from Zoe's Place in Liverpool. The charity saved in just a month by a fantastic fundraising campaign. On the programme tonight. The sweet sound that means Zoe's Place Children's Hospice in Liverpool has a bright future. The tears and the hugs say it all. And listen to what it means for the families who rely on it.
We are excited for that now because we've done it. Everyone's done it in Liverpool.
We'll have all the reaction from here on a great day for this city and this region.
And in the rest of the day's news. A triumph for the truth. Manchester Arena survivor Martin Hibbert wins damages from a conspiracy theorist who said the attack, which killed 22 people and injured hundreds more, never happened. Crisis? What crisis? Can Pep snap City out of their 3-game losing streak? Lest we forget, war veteran Richard tells of his 2 very different visits to the beaches of Normandy.
And it's the perfect weather this evening for the launch of the annual Manchester Christmas markets. But what sort of weather can we all expect this weekend? I'll have all the details later on in the programme.
So yes, it's incredible, but it's true. A month ago, Zoe's Place Children's Hospice in Liverpool faced the very real prospect of having to close at Christmas, with the lease on this building coming to an end. But the people of this city and beyond refused to let that happen. They raised £5 million in just over 4 weeks to reach the total of over £6 million needed to save it. Cash that means this wonderful hospice, which cares for poorly children and their families, can move to a new home and continue that great work. In a moment, I'll be chatting to some of the people at the centre of this story. But first, my colleague Rob Smith with the story of how celebrities and supporters came together to save a charity close to so many hearts.
The joy of knowing their vital work won't stop. The joy of knowing what it means for the families, for the babies they help. Zoe's Place in Liverpool had 30 days to raise millions of pounds for a new home. Today, they hit the target.
We thought it was undoable. We did not think we were going to get this campaign, to where it is now, hence why we thought we needed to close. But Liverpool proved us wrong, and thank goodness they have.
It's our own little community and our own little building. We're getting a new building. And we are excited for that now because we've done it. Everyone's done it in Liverpool.
And I'm just so happy that they can all stay, even all the other families, because we all count on Zoe's Place to bring our babies and children. Where is it?
Stephanie Parry felt very different this time last month. She and her daughter Robin rely on the hospice's respite care. An announcement the entire service would shut just before Christmas was the most unwanted of presents.
Robin's in that week as well, so she'd be like one of the last to be in there. And then I just think it'd be dead emotional.
Oh, he's so handsome.
The prospect of losing Zoe's Place motivated vast numbers of people in Liverpool and beyond to act. Social media filled with appeals by those with huge followings.
If you don't know, Zoe's Place is in need of cash urgently, and if it doesn't get it, it will close.
It was next to my school growing up, you know what I mean? It's a staple of the city. It cannot go.
If anyone could do it, it's Scousers from Liverpool. Not just Scousers, everyone that lives in Liverpool has become a Scouser.
They did just that, running, wheeling, walking, fundraising in so many ways to a month-long deadline.
Exceptionally important to keep Zoe's Place open. It's obviously a really amazing charity.
There's not enough of these places around, and it's just so sad that they need to raise all this money.
Money added to by one of the city's own retail institutions. Home Bargains donated £2.5 million.
If you do stream it, give us a donation.
Comedian John Bishop, who played a show in aid of the campaign, cleared today how important the vast sum was.
I think the fact that so many people have been able to support it in different ways. I was one of the people who was able to do a gig. Loads of people have done everything from sponsored walks to football games to all kinds of stuff. And significantly, Home Bargains have got behind it. And Home Bargains support is the one that's really tipped it over the edge.
Disbelief may take a while to dispel here. The scale of their achievement not lost on anyone, even the smallest in the place. Rob Smith, ITV News.
Well, joining me now are Matt from Zoe's Place, Head of Fundraising, and Steph Perry, Robin's mum. Now, Robin's actually gone to bed. She's had a very, very long day. Matt, I will chat to you first. A month ago, things for Zoe's Place looked very bleak, didn't they, Matt Meany?
That's right, yes. A month ago we were sat in a meeting with all of our staff telling them that we're probably going to be made redundant, and then we had to phone all the families to tell them that a service they absolutely rely on was going to close at the end of the year. And then the people of the Northwest and the City of Liverpool intervened and turned it around in an incredibly short amount of time. So very, very different today to where we were a month ago, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Tell me about the next steps then. When does the work start to create the new site?
There's still loads of technical and legal stuff to go through to get things up and running, but the full steam ahead really is the message. We want to provide as much certainty as possible for the families that access our care, and for our staff as well, of course. So we haven't got a start date just yet, but full steam ahead and as fast as we possibly can, really.
And of course, we know that you do great work for the children and babies already being cared for here, but there are so many more that need this service, don't they? So this is why this is so important.
That's right. The hospice network across the entire country is massively oversubscribed. There's far more children that could benefit from the care that we provide than we can possibly hope to provide, which is why it was so important we didn't lose Zoe's Place and we get it up and running in the new place as soon as possible.
And Matt, is the aim here to sort of have a seamless transition? So the day that this site closes, you'll move to the new one?
That would be the aim. We want as much continuity of care as possible. We want it to be as seamless as it possibly can for the families, yeah. But kind of the details will all come out in the wash in the next couple of weeks, but that's the plan, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. Matt Meany, thank you very, very much. Steph, I'll talk to you now. I've seen you for the past few days. Every time that I've seen you, you've been crying, people have been hugging you. Just tell me what it means to you.
It's just amazing, and it's happy tears as well today. It's just been like everyone's been in high spirits, and I'm just so glad that it's been safe for all the families, because we don't know what we'd do without it.
I mean, there certainly wasn't a dry eye in the house, was there?
No, definitely not. But it was happy tears this time, and I'm just like, I've lost for words. That it's just been a long day, and I'm just so happy that all the babies will get to stay and come here.
How worried were you that Robin and the other babies might not be able to come here anymore?
Just devastated, heartbroken, for all the staff as well, because they're all amazing, and just devastated. They just had no words and just knew that we'd all fight and come together, and knew Liverpool would come together and help save them.
Mm-hmm. Have you got anything to say to all of those people who've donated all of that money? I mean, it's a huge sum, isn't it?
That makes me emotional, yeah, but it's happy emotional. Just thank you, everyone, because you don't know how much it means to all of the families and our babies that come here. Like, they are such a big part of our lives, and we're just all so happy.
Everyone's so happy, and I can see how much it means to you, Steph, and I can see that Robin totally thrives here, doesn't she?
Yeah, definitely, always smiling and happy every time she comes here, and I'm so made up that she can carry on coming.
Well, thank you very much, Steph. Speaking of happy, we will be joining a very happy Zoe's Place again later in the programme. But first, we'll head over to Anne in the Granada Report studio with the rest of the day's news and sport. Anne.
Thank you very much, Zoe. On to this evening's other news, and the High Court has awarded 2 survivors of the Manchester Arena bombing a total of £45,000 in damages after they sued a man who claims the attack was staged. Martin Hibbert and his daughter Eve sued Richard Hall over his claims in several videos and a book that the attack never happened and they were just what he called crisis actors. Emma Sweeney has this report.
It was a night of unimaginable terror that will forever remain etched on the minds of Mancunians. 22 people killed and over 1,000 left injured, all at the hands of suicide bomber Salman Abedi. But despite this, self-styled journalist Richard Hall claims it was all a hoax.
In my years of investigation, I did not find any evidence to show that a real bomb was used. But I did find video and photographic evidence which shows beyond doubt that there was no bomb.
But this, of course, simply isn't true. Martin Hibbert was left paralysed by the bomb and his daughter Eve suffered a catastrophic brain injury. So intent was Richard Hall on spreading his conspiracy theory that he claimed the pair weren't even at the venue that night. He also secretly filmed Eve outside her home.
Everything that we've put up with for the 5 years happened, and that it was harassment and that it was wrong.
Last month, the High Court judge described Mr Hall's behaviour as a negligent, indeed reckless abuse of media freedom. Today, as he insisted he'd been the victim of an unfair trial, the judge ruled that he must now pay the Hibberts £45,000 for harassment, as well as at least 90% of their legal fees.
It's a comprehensive victory. We have won solidly, So, I'm very proud, and I can't wait to get home and see Eve tomorrow because she's going to get a massive hug. But it has been tough.
Martin Hibbert's now pushing for a new law, determined to shield future attack victims from being further traumatised at the hands of conspiracists like Robert Hall. Emma Sweeney, ITV News.
A people smuggler from Preston who organised small boat crossings of the English Channel has been sent to prison. Amanj Hassan Zada targeted vulnerable Kurdish migrants on social media using the advertising slogan, "The Best Smuggler." He was convicted of 3 counts of facilitating illegal immigration and jailed for 17 years. The MP, Mike Amesbury, has been given a court date where he'll face a charge of assault. The Runcorn and Helsby MP was suspended by the Labour Party after video emerged which appeared to show him punching a man to the ground. It happened in the street in Frodsham in his constituency. He'll appear before Chester magistrates on December the 30th. Part of the M67 motorway in Greater Manchester will be closing this evening as work continues to replace St Anne's Bridge in Denton. The £23 million project will close the motorway from 9 o'clock tonight until 5 a.m. on Monday morning. And Manchester's Co-op Live Arena is hosting the MTV Europe Music Awards on Sunday. International superstars like Busta Rhymes, Shawn Mendes and the Pet Shop Boys are all set to perform during the show, which will be hosted by Rita Ora. It's time for sport now. And Chris, is it too early to call Manchester City's slump in form a crisis?
Probably yes, but it is a worry for City fans and a headache for Pep Guardiola. 3 straight defeats, that's only the 4th time he's experienced that kind of a run. And yet, a win at Brighton tomorrow would put City on top of the Premier League for a couple of hours at least. In his whole managerial career, Pep has never lost 4 consecutive games.
Always there is a first time in a time life. Hopefully it's not the case. If you tell me 20 minutes against Fulham, we're not good, the team is not good. If you tell me against Bournemouth, I would tell the team is not good. The rest of the game, we were good. So, we're good. We'll see what happens.
Ruud van Nistelrooy says he hopes to one day manage Manchester United on a permanent basis.
I felt I want to be part of this journey with the club in also an assistant role. I had clear ambitions to manage. I made the decision to sign a 2-year deal as an assistant, and I'm still in that frame of mind, to be fair.
It's a big night in the Women's Super League as Manchester City face Tottenham at the Etihad Stadium. City are top of the table after 6 games, unbeaten so far, and they've won their last 5 league matches. Tonight will be one of City's biggest attendances of the season, and the players can't wait.
It's obviously fun. Playing in the bigger stadiums is something we strive for. Not to say that we also love playing at the Joy, which feels more like a fortress for us. But to be able to play the Etihad is very special, and it's always a nice occasion.
And finally to the stock car racer from Bolton, hoping to ride off with the season's big prize. Lee Fairhurst is a former European and world champion, but has never won the sport's national title. It's the end of season shootout finale in Bradford tomorrow, a night of high-octane action with the overall winner taking the silverware.
Motorised boxing is usually what I describe it as. It's full contact motorsport. You know, we're racing hard. We try to race as fast as we can, and obviously the bumpers are there to be used.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
I've won every major title apart from this one. I've been second a few times and third a few times, so it'd be like doing the Grand Slam and winning them all.
Yeah, motorised boxing. Looks like my journey home, that.
I bet it is. Thanks very much, Chris. Now, it's Remembrance Sunday this weekend, and for the final of our special reports this week to mark the occasion, we're rewinding the clock back to June this year. A handful of North West D-Day veterans returned to Normandy for the 80th anniversary of Operation Overlord on June the 6th, 1944. One of the stars was 100-year-old Richard Brock from Lancaster, and our reporter Paul Crone caught up with him to reminisce about a memorable trip to France in the summer.
A 100-year-old D-Day veteran Richard Brock from Lancaster, one of a dwindling band of brothers who travelled to France in June for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Still in excellent health and spirit, Richard was recently a guest of honour at the Sandbag Cafe for Armed Forces Veterans in St George's Church in Preston. And it was a chance to look back on the memorable trip to Normandy and speaking at Bayeux War Cemetery in front of a TV audience totalling 2 million.
Well, I didn't realise at the time, but they told me afterwards. So, no, I was all right.
On the 80th anniversary of D-Day, we also caught up with the Stockport Normandy Veterans Legacy, who travelled to France, all children of Normandy veterans.
I come back because they're in my heart, and I've come back today particularly for them, for the 80th.
And on Juno Beach, a very special ceremony took place as Manchester former soldier Dan Searson brought back sand collected by his grandfather when he landed on June the 6th, 1944.
He told me he'd been on D-Day. In fact, he's the inspiration and the reason that I joined the army, and I had a long and successful career serving as well, and it was all down to him and the stories he told me.
We also caught up with a 100-year-old D-Day veteran Bernard Morgan from Crewe, live on Granada Reports in Deauville. Have you had a good day, sir?
Been a brilliant day, and I'd like to thank everybody who's come and congratulated me on coming to Normandy on D-Day.
And back in Preston, Richard Brock never forgets the losses suffered in the East Lancashire Regiment during World War II.
When we went over, in my company was about 130 chaps. And then when we finished in Hamburg, when the war finished, we were in Hamburg, of course, there was just 19 of us.
He'll be wearing his poppy with pride on Remembrance Day, we're sure, with thoughts of his trip to Normandy in June in mind.
It has to be told, and they have to know what happened, because if it wasn't for the heroes, the lads that passed on in Normandy, life would have been different here today. What makes them extra special is the fact they don't see that. They're not the heroes. The ones that didn't come back are the heroes. Of the 130 with Richard, the 19 that came back, they were the lucky ones. The heroes are the ones that didn't come back. That's their view of things.
Paul Crone, ITV News.
Yes, and thank you to all those amazing veterans who've spoken to Paul for our pieces over the last week. Meanwhile, the residents of Stoneclough near Bolton have collected recycled bottles to build their own tribute to the fallen. They've created an arch on Old Ringley Bridge. It's been designed to replicate waterfalls cascading over the sides of the historic bridge. Well, we'll be going back to Zoe at Zoe's Place very soon, but that isn't the only great news story in the northwest tonight. Here's another one. The Christmas markets have arrived in Manchester, and even better, it's not raining. So it's good night from me and the team here, and now it's over to Jo in Manchester. Come in, Jo.
Thank you, Anne. Yes, it's lovely here this evening. Not a breath of wind, not a drop of rain. There's a real buzz here at the Christmas markets. World famous and now in their 26th year. Over 200 stalls in 9 locations here in the city centre until the 22nd of December. It's a great place to come down, grab a bite to eat, have a drink, do a bit of Christmas shopping. There's a real sparkle about the place this evening. And over the next couple of days or so, plenty of dry weather, which is great news for getting out and about either here at the markets or any other events across the northwest over the next couple of days or so. A little bit chilly now, but no real danger of any frost tonight. Let's take a look at the forecast for this weekend in a bit more detail.
Have you burnt tea again?
I'm scraping the cooled oil into the bin, not the sink.
Can we eat outside? It's nice.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Well, the markets are certainly bringing the sparkle this evening, but there's been very little in the way of sunshine across the northwest since November has been in full swing. The last week, several areas have recorded 0 hours of sunshine at all. The good news is, over the next couple of days, things will be improving a little bit, certainly by Monday, but the weekend looks rather cloudy, generally dry, the odd bright spell if we're lucky. At least it's not too chilly, so good for getting out and about and perhaps walking in some autumn leaves, with a touch of frost to come by Monday night. Back to the detail then, you can see high pressure out across Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and that's just keeping things settled and has been there all week. But there's been plenty of cloud around, and certainly as we head through into this evening, most places will continue to be very cloudy and gloomy. 1 or 2 breaks in the cloud perhaps overnight tonight for Buxton, Derbyshire way, allowing temperatures to fall away to around 5 or 6 degrees. But for most places tonight, misty, murky, some spots of hill fog and the Pennines, and temperatures at around 7 or 8 degrees. On to tomorrow, those are the sun times. It's up at 7:27 and sets tomorrow afternoon at 4:21. If you're hoping to get out and about tomorrow, it will be generally dry, rather gloomy and dull to start the day, perhaps some glimmers of brightness getting out here and there, but for most places, a cloudy afternoon as well. And temperature-wise, it'll struggle. 9 or 10 degrees won't feel particularly warm, but with the cloud cover, there won't be a frost tomorrow night. And by the time we get to Sunday, although it will start on a cloudy note, we'll begin to see skies brightening. And by Monday, some sunshine to come here in the northwest.
It's a little bit burnt.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Oh, thanks very much, Jo, and welcome back to Zoe's Place Children's Hospice in Liverpool. Now, a little bit earlier, you heard the amazing news that this amazing charity has been saved. So, to recap, the hospice faced closure at Christmas as the lease on this building at its current site ran out, but an appeal was launched to raise £5 million, and somehow they did it. The money will fund the creation of a new site close by in West Derby. Well, that leads me nicely on to our next guest. Joining me now is Liverpool West Derby MP Ian Byrne. Ian, thank you so much for joining us. They did it. How does it make you feel?
It's hard to put into words, really. You know, when 30 days ago we came to this place and it was absolute devastation. And then fast forward to today, the scenes of jubilation, emails, the staff are safe, families have got the service, and the city's just responded in just the most magnificent manner. And I couldn't be prouder, really, to be a proud Scouser and also the MP for West Derby.
I saw when I came here earlier, you were getting so many hugs. You've played your part, haven't you? Don't be modest about it.
No, it's a collective effort. You know, the staff have been magnificent, the city's been magnificent, and I've done what I feel as though is my job as an MP, which is to galvanise, pull people together. And all we asked was the chance to do this 30 days ago, and I believed we would, and we did.
It's really, really great news. It's so positive that we're going to have this new site.
Yeah.
But is it right that charity donations, you know, the likes of sponsored walks, charity bike rides, should have to pay for this top-class care? Is it right?
No, it's not at all. No, and we need a completely different formula on how that money comes in, you know, and that's what we've been doing in Parliament the last couple of weeks. We put a bill down, spoken of Westminster all debate, and we're pushing now for a different formula model, a funding model, sorry. It's got to be at least 50-50. Speaking to Claire House, their CEO thinks 50-50 potentially puts children's hospices on a more stable footing. 84% of them are actually in deficit. It's really worrying.
That's a really scary stat, isn't it?
Yeah.
What pressure then, I know you've touched upon it there, but what pressure can you put on the government to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, I think it's cross-party. We had a Westminster Hall debate. There was MPs from across every area, but also every party, and they were all saying the same thing. We need a different formula. We need a different funding model, and that'll be a big part of my job moving forward now.
Surely more funding should be given to hospices right across the country.
Oh no, absolutely. You see the work they've done, you've seen the love, the esteem, the health, the importance of what they do, and I think we've got to look at it in the round. There's an NHS review, a 10-year review, and I'll be saying to the Health Secretary, this is something we need to look at, and also the Chancellor as well. So the pressure builds up because we need to ensure that there's no other Zoe's Place issue like this. You know, this has been unique because Liverpool's rose up and said we're not going to accept this place shuts, but other places might be so fortunate, so we've got to make sure that that doesn't happen.
That's it, isn't it? It's just one hospice, but lots more are still struggling.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's celebrate the great news that's always placed.
Yeah, let's celebrate. Yeah, and look, thanks for all your help as well. What you have done, you have been reporting fantastically well. You've been galvanising the community as well. But it's a moment of celebration for Liverpool. We need this as a city, and I think it's shown the best of Liverpool across the country. I've had lots of MPs come up to me from across the piece saying what a wonderful job the city's done, and it's been an absolute privilege to be part of it.
Ian Byrne, thank you very, very much. Proud to be a Scouser, certainly. That is it from Zoe's Place. A wonderful day here. It's great to report on such a lovely story. People of Liverpool and the North West, take a bow. You've shown the best of humanity. From all of us here, good night.